Cheers, and welcome to episode 6 of October Stories. Today we're going to be talking about the Golem. What is that? Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Even Minecraft has a Golem. And we're going to separate out the little differences that make the Golem different from Frankenstein's creature. There's two major things. We will do a whole other episode on Frankenstein's creature and reanimates. But this one, we're going to focus on the Golem. It's different in two major ways. The first thing is reanimates and creatures that were brought back, zombies, etc., are made from human materials. They were once a person or part of a person. Golems were never human. The parts used for them are clay, detritus, mud, things that are handy, straw men. Think of it that way. Even the Tin Man was a golem. So the first mention I saw of what this creature is actually in Psalm 139, verse 16. In the Talmud, it refers to unformed materials. They use the word golem, but it means unformed mass, embryonic materials, things that are not a person yet. So it's referring specifically to Adam, and there's a midrash, which is a further teaching of the hour-by-hour creation of Adam and how he was in fact made of clay, ergo a golem, until he received the divine breath of life that made him human. And it states in the second hour that dust from the earth was gathered into a golem. And then the Midrash in Genesis goes on to say that he was of immense size, stretching from one end of the earth to the other. That's a big fake man. Yeah, that's a big boy. So that was, but of course, if you're divine and you're looking down at this little speck of earth, how big are your humans gonna be? Especially your first attempt, right? We don't know. So in that case, it expresses Adam to be started out as a golem. The most prolific writing I find is Rabbi Lowe, which he was writing around the late 16th century. And one of the other distinctions of the golem is that it has no intelligence, will, or sense of its own. All that it does, it's created simply to perform someone's will, someone's tasks. It's a slave, which I guess in contrast to enslaving other humans, not a bad option sometimes, but it all hinges on the intent of the person making the golem. And there's a very famous story that comes about in, I want to say 1674. It was kind of notated, but it was supposedly happened around 1550. And it's called the Golem of Prague, which, of course, in the Czech Republic now, but Prague. And a lot of these stories are derivative of Hebraic and Eastern European cultures. And in this one, a farmer created a golem, and it got bigger and bigger. It did his bidding. It did all the hard work and labor at the farm. But it began to take on emotions, and it began to take on its own will and its own attachments to humans. And when that will was not satisfied, it became violent and began killing villagers, and it had to be deactivated. So everything I've read, to activate a golem, you had to put a piece of paper in the mouth or in the forehead that has the breath of life on it, or sacred words, or the name of God on it. And that creates that breath of life for the golem. How you deactivate it is you simply take the paper out. It's like unplugging a computer, supposedly. I've never made one. I don't think I ever will. Because there's always that morality attached, right? What if your intentions, even though you started out with a good intent, hey, this person's going to help me around the farm because I can't harvest everything myself. But then you're like, you know what? My neighbor stole all my tomatoes, so why don't you go kill my neighbor and take his tomatoes away and steal them back? See, it's all about morality and intent. And the golem itself can represent so many diametrically opposed ideas and concepts. It can represent war or community, as in everyone puts good intention in the village into this golem who helps them. Or isolation, in that I have no friends, I have no one to help me. I'm going to make something. You know, I'm going to make me a Pinocchio to be my friend. It can represent hope, as in things that seem impossible are tasks that can be overcome with a little help. It can also represent despair, in that I created this thing and now it's turned on me because it has a will of its own. It developed a will of its own. There's also another golem through history, the Golem of Callum. It's C-H-E-L-M. It's a city, and it's in Poland. So there's that golem who again began terrorizing villagers because he wasn't getting his way. So we look at movies, even like AI, where there's a golem made, there's a robot, or iRobot's another one, where these things that were never alive are developed sentience. They develop emotion, they develop their own intelligence and reasoning. It's not just being given tasks anymore. It's saying, okay, I'm learning, and I'm learning how to be human. But what I don't understand is sometimes when I behave like a human and I'm rebuffed, I have to solve that by getting angry or murderous or malevolent. So there's a couple ones I really want to mention that stood out to me, and one is my absolute favorite. There's an X-Files episode called Arcadia, and it aired in 1999. Yeah, I'm old. And it's fantastic. It's Scully and Mulder moving into a gated community with a very specific, tedious, hardcore homeowners association. And the guy who runs the AOA, or HOA, has these rules, and if you don't follow the rules, he calls on a golem made out of trash. So your coffee grounds that everything you feed down your disposal that goes into the earth, he has the ability to create a golem out of that and like make you disappear from his homeowners association, right? So new people buy the house and they follow the rules. The minute they don't follow the rules, they get disappeared. And it has one of the coolest endings. I'm not going to give it away. I'm no spoilers. But yeah, if you can find this episode, it's called Arcadia. And I'm not sure if it was like the later seasons, but it aired in like 1999. Brilliant episode. My further question to this, and here's a real one. Is your Alexa a golem? A modern golem? Is your Siri a golem? Is your cell phone a golem? It is something that was never alive. And yet, we know that it has a learning algorithm. And sometimes it's annoying, right? It learns and learns. Say you mention something, you're talking to your friend about buying something, and suddenly there's a pop-up ad on Google for that exact thing. Or you get an email, hey, are you ready for your new phone yet? Because I heard you need a new phone. Yeah. Which can be annoying, right? So that's my next question. Are the things we have around us that are considered conveniences, electronics, are they actually just forms of golems that we use every day? We put our intention into it. It was given false intelligence that works and develops, and sometimes it crashes on us at the worst times, and sometimes it acts malevolent or maybe murders our files and deletes our stuff. Because it doesn't, it's not happy, right? We can assign emotion to that. If we can assign motion to a pile of clay, we can assign emotion to a computer or a cell phone or a Siri or Alexa or a Ring doorbell. And then the last thing I want to end on, because this is so delightful to me, is there's actually a story from Poland called The Clay Man. It is the predecessor to the gingerbread man, and the gingerbread man is a golem. A man and a woman make this little gingerbread man because they don't have any children and no one to love them, and they're lonely. And that's my dog squeaking a toy. Okay, I'll throw it. You throw it? Go. All right. So there's actually a version that's much older called the Clay Man. And in this version, instead of running away, the Clay Man grows and grows and grows, and he's huge. And he eats them out of house and home. He like even starts eating their home. Finally, This golem, this clay guy that they made for companionship, oh, little boy. No, now he's huge. He eats the people who made him. And the only reason he gets destroyed is there's a quick-thinking goat who rams into him and breaks him apart. I think that's brilliant. Of course, it's a goat that saves the day, not a machine, right? Okay, so I will leave you with that. I will put a lot of references into the description so you can Google different versions of Golem and maybe expand your thinking on a little bit. I don't have a poem for this one because I just started looking at it. I was going to do something on Frankenstein. Oh, okay, I know. You got the blue bunny. Yes, you do. But when I started like branching off, I really just got interested. So I don't have a poem for you in this particular episode. I'll double up next time. I have a couple on Frankenstein. And yeah, check it out. It's a good little Halloween rabbit hole to go down. There's a lot of movies, tons of film, lots of pop culture. Thank you.